Good morning, everybody. Well, it's a lovely sunny day here in downtown Stanthorpe, and I just had a few things on my mind. I mean, as you all know, we're in the middle of this COVID thing, whatever you want to make of it, and it does appear that it is a basis for something more sinister down the road. And we're all aware of that. We're all very acutely aware of it. Some people go to the extremes and what have you, and some people aren't taking it so seriously. But now we've had the army involved and patrolling the borders to stop people sneaking across with this really nasty Delta virus that's supposed to kill in 4 hours. And so far, there's been about 7 deaths to my knowledge. But anyway, this is only part of the point of what I want to make. It's a very good opportunity for you as believers and even as non-believers, whether you believe in God or not. This is a good opportunity to start to cooperate with each other, to help each other out. There's a lot of you are suffering, and suffering very badly, and some of you are too proud to put your hand out and say, hey, I need help. But you do need help. And there are people out there who will help you, not just churches, but other people. The churches are should be the main point of gathering for this. There are a lot of Christian churches willing to help. But it's up to you people to join together. So we're coming into the end times, whether you believe it or not. And it is this moment that we need to be unified as a body of believers and put all our junk theology or our differences aside and do what we're called to do, to reach out to people. Not just to spread the gospel, but also to do practical things. Feed the poor, help the elderly, the disabled. How many churches and Christians actually go into a nursing home and visit the elderly who sit there all alone because they've been deserted by their children? And believe me, it does happen, and you know it happens. These people are lonely. And what about the mentally ill who wander the streets, who sit in their flats day after day with nobody to talk to, and nobody will listen to them, and they go into a church and they're shunned because they're a bit different, or someone with autism or Down syndrome, Asperger's, what have you. It's very real, people. And it's time we got our act together and stop passing the buck and expecting somebody else or some other ministry to come in and do it. It's up to us to stand up. I mean, if we really believe what we believe, if we believe God's word and not just believe in God, but we believe what God says, which is what we should do, then we should get off our collective backsides and do something about it, and not just be all mouth. Because it's time and we need to stop all the gossip, all the bringing down of other people saying, oh, did you hear what so-and-so did, and blah, blah, blah. You know, if you're like that, you need to be on your knees right now and render your heart before God. If you seriously are saved, that is what we all need to do. You need to do, all of us. It doesn't matter whether you're a pastor or an elder or whether you're a street cleaner. God doesn't care what you do like that. What God cares about is in here. And what are you doing about it? Seriously. I'm not here to rebuke you or anybody else. I'm just as bad. I'm here though right now, and I'm trying to reach out to you guys to sit and listen. There are communities around you. In the New England area, I can name a dozen towns like Guyra, like Ben Lamond and Tenterfield and places like that. And then they're out in the outback like Chinchilla and Miles and St. George and, all over the place. Aboriginal communities that people sort of lead them to somebody else. They're human beings, just the same as you, created in God's image. He died for every one of them. And it is up to us who have had that redemption, have had that salvation. And if we really believe what we believe, then shouldn't we be getting out there and doing something about it? Or should we just be sitting down, going to church every Sunday and saying our little prayers and being nice and everything else? And when we go home, we go back to being a secular Christian or whatever. Oh, I'm holier than thou. And, oh, sorry, God, I saw it, the cat, or I kicked the cat. It's that sort of stuff. Be real. Be real behind the scenes. Because if you're not real behind the scenes, God sees that. He's not stupid. God sees everything. But God still loves you. And God loves these people that are suffering. And it isn't our lot to do that. What's the Great Commission all about? Why would God give us the Great Commission in Mark? To go out into the world, preach the gospel. Part of preaching the gospel, by the way, is reaching out to the poor, to the desperate, to the lonely. They're the ones that need the gospel. They need it more than anybody. It's okay, all okay to sit there and watch all these great evangelists and teachers on YouTube and what have you. But the nitty-gritty of it comes back to you, to me, to actually get out there and do it. You can sit there and you can become a spiritual pig with your nose in the trough all the time, and you get fed and fed and fed. And if you eat too much of anything, you get fat and you get lazy. And that's what's happened to a lot of us Christians. So it is time for us to stand up, not to bang the gospel down people's throats, but to reach out in love, show them what real love is, and give them the gospel as well. But don't bang it down their throats either. Show some real love and real care. Reach out to people. Ask your neighbour if they need a hand with something. They may be really desperately lonely. I know that there are people out here, and do I do it? Yes, I do. I talk to people in the streets when I go for walks and stuff like that. Whether I'm going to the gym or the doctors, I talk to people, find out where they're at. Is there anything I can do to help them? You know, that sort of thing. It's not that hard. And it doesn't mean people walk all over you. If you got that in mind, then you haven't got the point of what the gospel of Jesus is all about. People walked all over him. He didn't care, did he? He was moved with compassion. How about you? Where's your compassion? Do you really believe this? Or is this just another habit that you do just to look good for everybody else, go to church on Sunday in your best Sunday clothes and whatnot, and tie $20 into the offering and listen to the preacher and think, oh, good, I needed that. And you go home, you've learnt nothing because you've applied nothing. The whole idea of going to church is to worship as a group, as a fellowship. Do not forsake that, even if you don't like the people there, and even if they don't like you. That's not the point. The point is the gospel. The point is God. The point is your spiritual growth. And the point is submission to God and meekness and showing the same grace and mercy and understanding what grace and mercy is about. I'm going to do a couple of tutorials on that eventually, because a lot of people don't get grace, they don't get mercy, and they don't get compassion. And if they don't get that, how can they possibly understand redemption or salvation and the beauty of it, the depth of it, and how amazing God actually is? I kid you not, friends. So take it easy, have a great weekend, and God bless you. And yeah, I'm going to be praying for you, and I really, really hope that you guys do the same thing. Reach out to somebody that you don't know in church. It can't hurt, can it? What's the worst thing that can happen? Reach out to your neighbour. What's the worst thing they can do? Start a conversation. How hard is it? You know, you don't have to go straight into the gospel and give them word for word and condemn them and everything like that. That's not what God's about. Always remember too, there's nowhere in the Bible that it says that we're to hate anybody. We're to love everybody. We're not here we don't get involved in some of the stuff, you know, just because they might smoke a bit of hooch doesn't mean you should be doing it. You know, if they worship Islam, it doesn't mean you should do it, but you can still have them as friends. No reason why not. There's a lot of good there's a lot of good Muslims out there. There's a lot of good everybody out there, gay people as well. Oh, no, gay. No, hang on a minute. Love everybody. Doesn't matter if they're gay or not. As long as you don't participate in what they're doing. But you don't hang them out to dry for what they're doing. You love them. You care for them. Show something different to them. Show them the light. So anyway, everyone have a good day. And I'm going to get back to some housework and brush my hair or something. Okay, see you later.